here we are to say something about the two books that are so far published here in Romania. One by the name of Funky Business, as you know, which is a strange name, and the second one, Karaoke, Capitalism. I think we wrote these books, we were talking about it over dinner tonight. Why were we writing those books? Why? How did it start? And in a way, it started because after 1989 and 1990, the liberation started here, but there was also enormous changes in the economic system in the West, in almost all the Western countries, Sweden, England, Spain, Germany, you take any of the countries, and we had big changes. That were economics that were changing, also the political system changed its direction a little bit. We started to look at those changes, Jonas and I. And we were also trying to understand what was driving all this. What was driving all the changes. And in a way, you can compare this to what is going on today in nature, when everybody says, you know, that the climate is changing. Yeah, maybe the climate is changing, but at the end of the day, you know, climate is only one thing, it's temperature. It's temperature, up or down, Fahrenheit or centigrade. All the other things, you know, winds, hurricane, rain, snow, no snow, is just effects of this temperature change. We were doing a similar analysis of the society, of the economic system. And we could also identify that there was one thing behind almost all the changes that you see today, that we saw at that time, and that we have in the years to come. And the thing that was driving it all was information, access to information. That changed education, business, logistics, tourism, everything. The way we live our lives, in a way, is changed by the fact that we have access to all this information. It's unbelievable because it affects almost everything. Medicine, marketing, leadership, everything. And then we started to work. And work. We started with the information, then we started to look at what kind of effects will this have on competition, on companies, and on various aspects of the business community. And out came the two books. So in a way we saw a little bit of a climate change in our societies. That was our starting point. And today, when you look back, I think if we had written all those books today, you know, exactly today, and this we have talked about a lot, there is only one thing that comes to our mind when we read it again and again, and that is that we maybe underestimated the power of information, because it's even more important than what we thought. Even more. And the more we see, the more important it seems to be. Jonas.
So as regards the second book, Karaoke, Capitalism, every book to some extent is a product not only of its authors but also of the time in which it's written. Now looking back at when we sat down to write Karaoke, Capitalism, this was a pretty weird time. Because it turned out, walk up to the stage, pick up a microphone, and then pick a song, something with Elvis Presley, and then you begin to sing. Wise men say only fools rush in, and in all likelihood it sounds bloody terrible, doesn't it? So then you have another beer, because after the second beer your voice sounds a little bit better. Sing again, and you drink again, you sing again, and you drink again. But at the end of the day, you will never ever become successful by going to a karaoke bar. You will always remain a pale copy of someone or something which is truly original. And much to our dismay, I guess, we found that a number of companies were not really utilizing the new opportunities that this climate change was opening up for. And instead they settled for being pale copies. And in fact, in business, we have even invented names for all this. We call it benchmarking, the sharing of best practices. And we're most certainly not trying to make fun of anyone, because it's natural for us to imitate. We're human beings. When did you start? You may not remember this because you were fairly young. You were probably 2-3 months old. You were lying in a crib, and suddenly someone leans in over the crib and goes, "Eh." And it's really, really scary, because that someone is huge, and you can see their teeth. So what do you do in response? Well, you go, not because you know what it means. I mean, in fact, you don't have a clue. You're 2 months old. But it seems safe. If that someone's doing it, I better do it too. And in a world of change, it seemed to us that human beings are quite instrumental. The more change there is, the more instrumental in this uncertainty-reducing behavior we become. I mean, assume, for instance, that you're not here in Bucharest. Assume that you're in New Delhi. And tomorrow morning you're going to have the most important business meeting of your career so far. Now, unfortunately, the food on the flight to New Delhi was terrible, so by now you're really, really hungry. You decide to leave the hotel, you walk out onto the main street of New Delhi, and after about 2 minutes, you can see them. Over there, you can see the familiar M of McDonald's. And if you look that direction, you can see a small sign saying Sings Delhi in Delhi. Where will you go? It's a really, really important business meeting tomorrow, my friends. So most of us will go to McDonald's. Why? Well, because at McDonald's, we know exactly what's on the menu. We know exactly what it's going to taste. We know exactly how disappointed we'll be.
We don't have to fry.
But it's predictable. No beef. There are McDonald's in New Delhi. I promise you, I've been to one. I mean, and I wasn't sort of thrown out with tar and feathers after I was gone. But the main point here is, of course, that there is extremely limited payback in playback in a hyper-competitive economy. And the rest of the book is really a big manifest for what it takes to be non-karaoke, to be authentic. Because at the end of the day, we're all born originals. We're all born different. And that is the point of departure for the journey that the book will take you on. So good luck. Be yourself. Thanks.